Hey everybody, welcome back to Enigmatica 2 Expert Pack. And let's start today's episode off right with a dragon kill. And there we have it, all done. So you're probably wondering why we just did that. And the reason why is because today we're going to make the angel ring for creative flight. And the hardest part of that at the moment was the elytra. Honestly, the other stuff isn't really that hard. Golden apples, entirely free. Elytra, also free now. 2 dense gold plates, also free. Now ethereal glass, there's a little trick here. We're going to have to make lunar reactive dust, which is just as simple as lapis in a resonator. And we only need 16. Now usually we would have to make this unstable ingot, but I'm pretty sure we can actually just make stable unstable ingots. Combine them, 2 moonstones, and 16 ethereal glass apparently, because I've forgotten that it crafts 8. So ethereal glass, done. Now we're gonna need the chicken wing ring, which we actually have everything for except a golden lasso. And all that's going to take is a regular crafting table with this recipe to make a golden lasso. And it's pretty useful that we actually have chickens right here. They give us our eggs for our plowman's lunch. So now we make the chicken wing ring with the golden lasso. And now we're only missing one thing, and that's the ender star, which is going to present a little bit of a problem. We'll reconstruct a nether quartz to make a prismarine shard. We already have black quartz. Now we need to get nether stars and dragon's breath. And you'll never guess what I forgot to get while I was fighting the dragon. That's right, a nether star.
Also the dragon's breath.
Now we actually have enough. So we've actually got enough here to fight the wither. So let's just beat the wither. Piece of cake. We also got wither ash, which is kind of cool. I have no idea what that does. And 4 supremium essence, which is fantastic. And a substantial amount of time later, we actually have 4 end crystals. And the reason why this took so long is because it's nether stars, which I swear it's not that in the base game, but whatever. We need to re-summon the dragon so we can actually get some glass bottles of dragon's breath. So let's fight another dragon. So there we have it, some dragon's breath. So that should be our ender star. And last I checked, that now means we have the angel ring. And isn't it beautiful? We're not going to be able to fly at the moment because we don't have enough grid power, it seems. So let's just light some more fires and place some more fire mills. And isn't that beautiful? We now have creative flight and can do anything we want. So of course, we're gonna grind. So I was just doing a little bit of questing before we got into grinding, and we have received some pretty insane things that are gonna allow us to progress way faster today. And the first of those is litherite crystals. Now, the best part about these is that we can duplicate them, and they are used to make the Void Miner Tier 1. And they are very, very difficult to make. So we have just had a massive skip in progression, because the terrestrial artifact requires empowering all of these nasty things, and the empowered diamantine crystal requires a mana diamond. And we actually don't have Botania yet. So great skip there already. The second skip is also going to be our auto heavy sieves. Now, the heavy sieve is made from the regular sieve, which is the mana infused gear. We do actually have mana infused stuff now thanks to our laser drill skip, but this just speeds up the process of compressing things and sieving. So what an amazing start to the grind. But really, the first thing that I wanted to do today was going to be setting up our applied energistics. Now I've actually prepared a very cool, very awesome room for our new applied energistics controller. These are future blocks. Don't worry, they're not the real thing yet. But we are going to have a lot of P2P interfaces on this controller. And crafting it is going to be the tricky part, because ME controllers look like this. We need this control circuit board, which requires a fair amount of things. And to the best of my knowledge, the circuit board can't actually be automated. So I've already gone ahead and done that. In fact, I've actually gone ahead and already made enough of everything for our controllers. We just don't have enough crafting CPUs, so we're going to have to do these in batches, and even 20 is too much, so let's do batches of 10. So while we wait for those, let's get to some more technology. Well, our beautiful controller has been assembled, and I accidentally made 3 extra. Not quite sure how I got my math wrong, but it's just not my strong suit. So I reckon that the grind today can be focused on getting our void miner. Now I know that sounds like, wow, what are you doing? But with the void miner, we're going to be able to get litherite crystals, and we're also going to be able to start to unlock our environmental tech solar panels, which will form the backbone of our power generation for the foreseeable future. All structures in environmental tech are made of structure frames, and structure frames are very expensive at the start, but they get a lot cheaper. The first thing that really jumps out is these litherite crystals, which will be replicated for the meantime, but our interconnects are going to be the harder part. These take 4 connectors and black concrete, which is what we're going to use. We could use the modifier component, but we won't. We will use black concrete because it's cheaper, and connectors, which take 36 tin each and 4 signalum. Now, unfortunately, we don't have Ender IO, so we're going to have to set up a clunky bit of automation for signalum. And that's going to be with Shibuchi ingots in an alloy smelter, either thermal foundation or nuclear craft. I think nuclear craft is probably the way to go. And then we're going to need a magma crucible for some redstone to get destabilized redstone, and then fluid transpose that into signalum ingots, either with the fluid transposer or the fluid infuser, but I think thermal expansion is going to be the way to go here. I may regret saying that. So let's just have a look. The induction smelter, we are missing an invar gear and a redstone reception coil. So let's just ask for some reception coils. I think we'll need 1 here. Yep, we should ask for 2. So let's ask for 10 maybe. No reason not to. Now we do have invar, and we need 1 gear for our induction smelter. Fluid transposer needs 2, so that is 12 invar total with our gear mold, and there's our induction smelter. Our fluid transposer is going to take glass. Luckily, everything really is just an auto craft away. 2 portable tanks and a carpenter, which we just need 2 water buckets, which is equally as free. So now we have our fluid transposer, and we had an extra portable tank. We're also going to need a magma crucible, which luckily enough we can just make. So our fluid transposer is going to be the final step. We want the magma crucible and then the induction smelter. We'll have interfaces on the bottom. We'll set recipes for the Shibuchi ingots and the signalum ingot. So signalum into the fluid transposer, Shibuchi into the alloy or the induction, which we'll set to that. And the bottom can be an input and output with auto output enabled. We're actually going to output our fluids from the side into this, which means our fluids in our fluid transposer will come from the left, and then the input and output, which is that configuration maybe? No. There we are, that configuration, and we'll auto output down the bottom. So now we need to run our power cables along to the machines. They are all powered. And we can run our ME conduit as well, which will just request some more. We're missing gravel. Great. Do we have any more? No, we have no gravel. Luckily, that's just cobblestone in the crushing factory. And we'll also need to make sure that this interface constantly requests redstone, in stacks, of course, and that then this will input from the bottom. So hopefully the interface will just push straight up. If not, we can just use some conduits. And there we go, our cables have been set. So now when we check our crafting terminal, we should see, in crafting only, we should see the Shibuchi ingots. Yeah, there they are. There's signalum, there's Shibuchi. And is this working? It is not. So we'll need an item conduit, set to extract, and then that can be set to insert. And we need to set the back as input. There we are. And then that is automatically filling up the fluid transposer. And it is 250 millibuckets, so we should be able to request our first signalum. Let's just see. Okay, so the induction smelter has worked, and it is transposing. And we have a signalum ingot. Perfect. Nothing like a little bit of non-Greg automation. Alrighty, so let's set some patterns for the structure frames. So that's going to be pretty simple there. The interconnect as well, not too difficult. And the connector. We are out of patterns, so we should request some more. One extra because we don't have aluminium brass on smelt, and that does require the induction smelter. Thank goodness that we just made one, and that is aluminium and copper. And then I think this will almost be our molecular interfaces done. So let's see, let's request a structure frame. We need blocks of tin. Probably should have seen that one coming. Alright, pattern for tin blocks. So that goes in our crafter, and now we should be able to request the structure frame tier 1, which takes 144 tin ingots a piece. That is expensive. I think we can only make 10 structure frames with that. Yeah, 10. We need way more tin. Well, I have to say it's really nice to see this simple, dirty signalum automation working so well. And there is our structure frame tier 1. Alright, so let's get to work on this solar panel. So the solar array tier 1, ooh, that's going to be expensive. We need 4 litherite crystal blocks. And then we need to make 10 solar frames because we need one for the controller. So we need 10 interconnects. So let's make 10. Shouldn't take too long, I don't think. Might take a while on the actual alloys. Oh my gosh, so slow. Well, let's just give these two some hardened upgrade kits and just see if that makes it faster, which it looks like it does. Although we are going to run out on our magma crucible. So can we make any more? No, we're missing a bronze gear. There you go, 1 bronze gear and a hardened conversion kit. Still going to take ages. Can we make 3 reinforced? So we need silver gears and fused quartz. Thought we could craft that. Yes, we can. It's just a block of quartz and nether quartz in an alloy furnace. Which we have right there. And then silver gears, I believe. Silver gears. Alright, so now we should be able to make 3 reinforced upgrade kits. Oh, we can't because we only have... Well, why is this offline? Well, that would be why. We never plugged in our second crafting CPU. That was silly of us. Right, well, let's request 3 of these now. There we go, all 3 are made. We can just upgrade their speed, because that is pretty depressing. I think we can make some auxiliary reception coils just to make this machine faster. That's not too bad now. Yeah, that's better, that's better. Speed is key. Alright, so we have our 10 interconnects now. And we need to make solar panels. And we need solar cells for that, so 64 it is. And then litherite solar panels. We can make our 10. Make our solar array tier 1. We have our solar cells. What else does it need? 16 structure frames. So we have 1 already. We just need to make another 15. Oh, we're missing 87 tin. There's no way. 2 stacks of tin dust that we had lying around through the furnace. And I think this will actually wipe out all of our tin. Which I'm not sure what our null modifiers require. They also require an interconnect. So we need 4 more oh my gosh. I think we're not going to even be able to craft this yet. Well, there's those 15. And we actually don't even have the crafting CPU space to craft this much. So let's request 13 and 2. And then have a look at our tin. Oh, that's so grim. 45. Right, so all the time here is just going to be in our signalum ingots. So let's just do a little bit of waiting. And maybe go mining for some more tin. So we just need our null modifiers, which are going to require some glass. So we can just request some more glass. And 4 interconnects, I believe. Which again is just so much tin. But I've got an idea for how we can solve some resource shortages shortly. Try saying that 3 times in a row. Alrighty, so there are our 4 null modifiers. And I haven't built one of these in a while, so let's just see what it looks like. Oh, nice. Okay, I see what it looks like now. I reckon a good spot is going to be on top of our 4 pillars here. We can have some solar panels, so let's just start by building one of them. And that is a horrifically terrible amount of FE generation. That's garbage. 1,000 FE per tick. Last I checked, these are outputting, what, 5,000 RF per tick? Oh my gosh. Well, potatoes still seem to be the way to go, but I'm sure upgrading this in the future is going to be fantastic. so you can just chill out there for a while. Well, next up on the to-do list is our passive resource generation that can hopefully be a little bit faster than what we've currently got. Because I think as it stands, this is probably around 5 seconds per ore. And I know the tier 1 miner is around 20 seconds per ore. But auto sieves, on the other hand, are going to be a lot faster than that. They do take power, so maybe we do big sieves? Let's just figure that out. So here we are at the future location of the sieving setup, and we have our fully enchanted meshes thanks to our mob farm. We also have material stoneworks factories, which when provided with power will start generating cobblestone, and we can then crush it down into gravel, sand, and dust. And we want to get all these outputs into, or do we actually? Because out of these, we get a bunch of pieces and some different dusts and shards that we don't actually need to process. So we'll definitely start our extractions on the bottom. And now let's see how many different things we need to filter into it. So sand is going to have 2. Dust will have an extra 3, so that's 5. And gravel will have 2, I think, because crushed blackstone we can just enrich. Perfect. So we can just put in an item filter, and we have that many slots, which is perfect. So let's get the materials. It's prismarine, aquamarine, redstone, skystone, certus quartz, diamonds, and emeralds. And we can't drag them in. Wonderful. Guess we'll do that later then. Because otherwise, it looks like everything, except for the crushed black quartz, needs to go through a compressor. And the compressor is not hard to make at all. So here's where the processing is going to start. So we'll have our compressor, which will be on a lower priority than the input here to the drawer storage. And we'll make 2 mechanism machines, an enrichment chamber and an energized smelter. Definitely, oh my gosh, we're out of circuits. So we'll make 2 basic installers. We're probably not going to need much more than that, but it's always worth just making a little bit extra. And then the advanced installers, we're missing our reinforced alloy and some elite control circuits. Okay, 1 advanced installer. Whatever, we'll stop waiting now. Anything out of the compressor is going to be extracted on brown and sent into, of course that's not going to work, and sent into the enrichment chamber. We'll give it our installer. And we're not going to turn sort on just so it can process more things at once. And then the enrichment chamber can actually auto output on the top into the smelter. So we'll need to insert on a lower priority up into the smelter as well. That'll be for our black quartz. And then we can just extract out the top on green, which will then immediately send it into the drawer. It won't send it into the drawer controller, not yet. And if actually we extract this on blue, we'll just send this all the way over and insert on blue on the top, because anything coming out of the smelter is finished. Perfect. I think that should work now. We just have to set up the material stoneworks factory. So let's make gravel and let's just see. It requires cobblestone and then the pickaxe. So pickaxe, done. Oh, and we want to make sure that material process here actually can't be extracted. Then I am imagining that sand is the exact same thing, but with 2. And it is. And so make sure this one can't be extracted. Make sure this one can't be extracted. And then the green one is the one that will be being pulled. And now dust is probably the same, but with grind mode 3 times. It is. And so same thing. no extraction of any of the materials until dust, which is the orange. And now with all of that plugged in, we just need to put some energy upgrades and speed upgrades in our smelters, and it should work. Okay, so the material stoneworks are working. It's honestly a little bit slower than I wanted, so we might put some upgrades in there, but it's not extracting. So we just need to use some conduits out the back. We want to set extract to on and then insert, and then that should start working, and that is amazing. Look at that. I think we might need some extraction upgrades and to also turn off insertion on the machine because it's made us Certus quartz blocks and redstone blocks because we forgot our drawers. Well, it did make us ingots. That's brilliant. Let's just finish placing these conduits. There's the sand and there's the gravel and there are the drawers. So now we should be able to allow insert and get this thing filled up. We're going to organize these, of course, because I don't want to just have random ingots everywhere. So I'll get that done and you'll meet me back when we're almost finished. So everything is all set up now. We are currently running at the maximum speed of the compressor. We might need to add another one. And our enriching facility is constantly running. The smelting is constantly going. This redstone furnace is also constantly going, but now we're starting to reach the limits of the enricher. And we actually have massive drawer storage now because we have litherite crystals from our replicator, which is the highest base upgrade that you can get for your drawers. And you can add more, so we might add more. We can store thousands of ingots, and right now we've already managed to get ourselves over 600 tin ingots extra. And sometimes we do get little pop-outs of this black quartz dust because the gravel one is just constantly full. So yeah, let's make some more. It just looks like we need to expand everything, so we might have to do that. Oh well, either way, that's probably about time to wrap up the episode. I think that we have managed to achieve all we wanted today, other than power generation, because that solar panel we have is hot doo-doo. But once we make the void miner, we're kind of on our way to making faster and better power from environmental tech. So I just want to say thank you all to the channel members for supporting the channel. It actually means a lot and helps me work towards the goal of being able to do this full time. That would be amazing. And next time you see this base, hopefully I've got a little bit more carved out for us so we can really get into expansion. But with that all being said, thank you for watching and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.